All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. 1 second. Awesome, awesome. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join. Good, good, good. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. What a day. Another fun one. So today we're going to be continuing our discussion on day trading breakouts. And today we're going to be talking about horizontal breakouts, right? So those horizontal lines that can be so interesting, right, on the daily and intraday time frame. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit today. So before we do, though, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Grab a little grapefruit here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. All right, well, let's check and see where we left off in the market today. So monthly chart, new month today. Happy April, April Fool's Day, but it really wasn't a joke today, right? Down 114 points. We talked about last month, right? We closed 10 points under the 50 monthly moving average. So kind of that bearish line in the sand right there. So last month, March, ended up finishing basically bearish, but it's kind of appropriate, right? I mean, to see it bounce off of that without any real cure going on or massive recoveries of the corona, it's really not appropriate for it to be a bullish environment. So not surprised to see a gap down here and starting the month off right at here at the monthly cloud. Now, does this mean that we're going to be super bearish and continue down forever? Not necessarily, right? So we'll see how this cloud holds as potential support. We have seen us break down here back in 2011. We did break down below the monthly moving average, and then the next month we kind of held the cloud and then worked our way back up there. So here, though, we held the cloud that next month. We closed below it. This is back in 2008, right before the big financial crisis as everything got started here. Then we stayed under that bearish moving average for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to the downside, and then we slowly worked our way up to tag it, and then came back up, got back down again, and that's where we were. So we'll see what this does, what we have in store for this. So kind of a big deal right here so far. So weekly chart. Last week, bullish engulfing week, so that was a good thing, right? We thought we could get above and stay above that 50 monthly moving average, but so far this week, we've pushed down right here. So we're finding some resistance in this area right here, 2 upper shadows, right, and kind of forming a shooting star right now on the weekly chart. So 2 trading days left to see where we can close with this one. Daily chart, pretty interesting stuff, right? So we talked about bullish reversals recently, right, a couple sessions ago. And we had this morning star reversal here. We got a nice move up, but we came right to the macro downward trend line here on this SPX. And we had a good breakout candle on Monday out of that, but we really needed to confirm above that. We just never did that, right? So we came off of that, and of course, with the volatility, we get all these moves and popped our way down and stayed under that moving average, stayed under that trend line right here, and we're also under the 8-day moving average. So that's what we're seeing here. So let's take a look at the price action here intraday. See what we had going on today. So big gap down, right? And then we try to do a little bit of a reversal, right? So try to get a little bit of a move up today. So it's like, okay, yeah, everything's good, everything's strong and all that stuff. And then boom, upper shadow. And then you get this candle right here that puts you right back into that 15 orb range where you had this big steady move down today, a little bit of a move up and then down again. And of course, the end of the day shenanigans where, all the shorts cover, I guess, before tomorrow. And then, the algos just start pushing and all that stuff. So you see a lot of this stuff at the end of the day. Here's the levels that we provide to our members before each market open, and you can see how important those levels were today. We came back down, we tagged the S3 level, bounced off of that, kind of, a little choppy price action right here. You get a trend line on this, right? Go to your highs, go to here, right? Break below, confirm below, and then we work our way down nicely there, test these levels, right? We hold on here, and then this candle right here was it. We caught a nice short on this one here, and that gave a nice move down here. Held the weekly pivot level, and they just reclaimed that today right back to that prior closing gap there. So pretty important stuff there. So good. So today we're going to, like I said, we're going to continue this discussion here on breakouts. And so today we're going to talk about horizontal breakouts. So kind of the thing with horizontal breakouts, this is the classic, right? And that's why I kind of saved it for one of the last ones to talk about. This is kind of one of the classic ones right here. So this is where you get like an ascending triangle, and you start approaching this horizontal trend line, and everybody's just kind of looking at it, right? They're like, oh, this thing's getting ready to break out. And this is one of the, honestly, of all of them, I would rather a trend line breakdown. I'd rather a rising wedge or a falling wedge, right? Because those are, very, very definable reversals. This can be tricky, especially if you try to get in before the breakout, right? And because there's so many times where it works its way up here and it reverses off it, because everybody's trying to get this breakout. Then it comes back again, breaks down. Then it pops above it again. It's like, oh yeah, this thing's gonna break out. Then it comes back again, and then it's only till like that last time where it finally gives that move, right? And it's a very very tricky one. And honestly, it's almost a better strategy to especially in the early stages of a horizontal move, to actually short that range, right? So a lot of the pros sit up there, algos sit up there, and they short, right? Because they know everybody's trying to go for a break on it. These are because they're so obvious, right? So it's actually almost a better play to try to short those instead of try to get in there and hope that it breaks out. So the only time we're going to talk more about confirmation tomorrow, but the only time that these really make sense is when we finally confirm above it, ideally with some good volume, where it makes sense to kind of go. And that really is kind of the case with all breakouts, but this one in particular because it can be so tricky. So let's take a look at some examples here. In fact, Boeing has a few really good examples here. If we go to the daily chart. Oh, before we do that though, let's take a look at the S&P futures and to see where we're at here this evening before we go into any further. So S&P futures up 22 tonight. So we've been kind of holding. If you zoom out here, okay. So we're actually previously holding a couple of these lows from the pre-market session, right? So right here has been a very key level this evening. So you can see here again a good line here to look for a breakout. It's like no, not quite, not quite yet, right? So it's actually a pretty good example. It's not a true horizontal breakout level because we didn't see that resistance, but that prior level is very important right here. We had a big breakdown off it before. Now we're trying to get above it right now, and we can see these big moves are actually on decreasing volume. So definitely a key level to look at right there. We'll see how that holds into tonight, but we are above it. We had a big downward trend line here, kind of coming into the evening, right from today. In fact, let me adjust this a little bit here. Fresh low, fresh trend line. So we see that coming out here. So what we really have is this first initial breakout move here, and basically forming a trend box for us, right? So we have the recent lows, which forms that trend line. Oh, look at the box up there. So here's your trend box, here to here, right? So this is going to be a key level to get above and to close above. Okay. So actually found some resistance here too. So be very very careful with this one tonight. It's going to have they've got some work to do tonight. So we'll see how that goes going in tomorrow. Okay. So let's look at some examples. So on the horizontal breakout. So Boeing has a great one. So lots of great ones, and you see these all the time. Just when you see them, just remember that there's a chance that honestly looking at those short areas, right, or shorting at those areas is oftentimes can be a better deal, right? So here you can see we moved up all the way 2017. We had a big move up right here, right, and then we kind of ran into some resistance right here, right, and so you can see this really kind of started the whole horizontal move right here. So came all the way up here, couldn't break out above there. Came up again. This is kind of the key area. It actually ticked above these levels, but you kind of get the idea. We can even put it here. Okay, just kind of where it lines up like that. Okay, so it came up, tried to break out of this horizontal breakout. Say, okay, no, right? It's not there. In fact, it wasn't there yet, but here's a level, right? So and then it came back down again, right? Then. In fact, you could actually look here when you look at that other time frame. It's like here we kind of approached up here, it came down, right? There were two lines that hit that level, and then we came back and hit it again, right? It's a good breakout level. No, not there, right? And here it finally broke out, right, and only gave a little bit of a move, and then it came down sharply, right, before it started to form this level right here, which it came back again to get there, right? That's why the cup and handle pattern is so interesting, right? Because that cup and handle pattern, starts with a cup, right, and then you get your handle, right, and then you get the breakout. So, kind of keep that in mind there. And a lot of times we see this, or we see like a head and shoulders. Let's say there's another one right here. A head and shoulders, whatever the case is. And that's why these patterns are set up because it's so hard to break out sometimes out of these levels. That's why it's almost better to short when you get to these areas, especially if you can get a nice little setup here. Like this candle right here is a great one to get short on off of that level, right? And so anyway, so here we finally got up to it again, and couldn't get it, right? So you can see even here is a decent little short off of that. And then finally, this candle right here, we broke out with some good volume. We got over all these levels, and then we got a nice 3-4 day move up here, even though it was short-lived, right? So it became, at least you got the break right there. Now, and the whole thing about breakouts, right, especially in the horizontal levels, is not that they're going to go up forever. You get a nice move up there, and then it was like, nope, rejected again, came back in, found it as resistance, came back again, found its resistance, and then came back down. So you can actually see there's a higher probability on a short at these levels, right, to even here you could have made a little bit of money and still been safe, right, here, and then finally, instead of breaking out above it, right, putting a breakout candle, it decided to, with earnings, gap above it. And that's really the key thing right there. And so you had this move, right, you had that fresh level right here, and then we pushed above it here on the next day, and then it continued to move up, retested it, and then gave its move, right? So it wasn't until the gap to get over that on that daily time frame. So horizontal levels can be very, very tricky, right? So so I think it's a good thing to keep in mind, especially even on the intraday time frame. So if we go here even to today, right? You can just see how tricky it was, right? So, here we had a couple horizontal levels, right? So it kind of formed like a channel right here, right? Had trouble getting above this once, twice, three times, right? So, if you're waiting for this breakout on Boeing, right, it's just not happening, right? But then at the same time, the breakdown wasn't happening either, right? So we had a horizontal level below as well. So you had this first tag right here. Here it pushed a little bit below, and a lot of folks get caught in this, right? It's like it starts to break down, and folks want to jump in right there, right, to short, and then they pull it right back up. Then they try to get, okay, well, this time it's going to go because it got past that level. Nope, nope, nope. Got to wait till it confirms, and it all depends on your time frame, right? So each time frame needs to give you a certain amount of confirmation. Then it tried again here, couldn't do it. Tried again right here, couldn't do it. And by the end of the day, it's done. It just couldn't get through these levels, right? So, and a lot of times at the end of the day, that's the case, right? But here, right, if we go back one day before, let's get this here. I believe it was this. Yep. So we go here, and then we start to see, kind of a similar type situation, right? So it's not until we confirm below there do we actually get, a reasonable move, right? So here, granted, it was kind of like a descending triangle, but that is the essence of those horizontal lines, right? Because we came down here, couldn't get there, here, couldn't get there, here. It's like, trying to gear up to get it, and then boom, we finally break down with some momentum and some good volume, and then we get that downside move, right? You get the follow through on it. So you just got to give it time. Sometimes third time's the charm, sometimes fourth time's the charm, right? And here, for example, here's another one, right? So here's your horizontal level right here. You got this ascending triangle, right? Can't get above, can't get above, can't get above. Okay, now we finally close. Of course, it's the end of the day, right? Now, it did happen to get some follow through, through the evening, right? But trading after hours is, can be challenging, right? So, so it is a very, very important situation, right? And so we look to trade these, and it's not until you actually get some confirmation of those levels where things can get moving. So you can see how challenging those are. So that's really kind of a warning. In intraday, unless there's a key setup going on and you get a key breakout candle, these horizontal ones are the most challenging. And oftentimes it's better to do a reversal on it, as scary as it can be, right? Because as traders, we just want to break out and get going, right? But really, the trade oftentimes is the reversal off of those levels once they can be defined. So, anyway, hopefully you guys found that helpful, and hopefully this, so far this week it's been a good discussion. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have an awesome trading day tomorrow. All right. Good stuff. So, so Shirley sent a few in by email here, so let's take a look. So NVTA. So NVTA had some news after hours. Had a rough day today, right? So increasing volume, right, with a really nasty candle that closed on its lows, right? You can see here we had a trend line right here. Started to break out about, decent breakout candle here. Tried to work above upper shadows, couldn't get above them. Here it gave a little bit of a momentum move through it, and then inside day down today. And I believe it had some news after hours, which gave you that downside follow through. So I don't exactly know what the news was. NVTA commences. Stock offering. So there you go. So what a candle today on an NVTA. Nasty. Shooting star candle under a curling down 8 EMA with increasing volume, right, heading back to the downward trend line, and then they're like, boom, stock offering. So that's going to be a nice downside move for tomorrow on NVTA. So obviously we'll see what it does. You could look at it for like a 15 orb trade tomorrow. APT. Oh wow, nice close on this one today. These are the mask makers. I think they had some good news today. So nice breakout candle here today. Definitely one to keep on the bullish radar for tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to add that to the game plan watch list. That looks really good. Nice catch on that one. M for Macy's. M for, my goodness, $4 stock. Anyway, we talked about this last night. Right here's that downward trend line right here. So bearish still proven otherwise. Big volume today on more downside move. It's like almost at $4. Just a really challenging one right there. So definitely one of those usual suspects here. And here's another one too. BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond. Here we go. So here's your levels right here. We talked about, I believe we talked about this yesterday, right? So we got an inside day. We closed below it today with some increasing volume. So I mean, it's just, it's tough here, but it's like how low can it go? So these brick and mortar ones are, starting to. A lot of these retail places are, furloughing employees, laying off employees. No one's going out, right? Non-essential businesses. It makes it really, really tough for this. It's going to take a while for these to recover until people can actually go out and start shopping again. And anyway, yeah. So speaking of shoppings, how about shop? Let's take a look. So again, downward trend line today. Today it came back down below the downward trend line. Bearish candle. This is on the bearish radar yesterday because of the upper shadow. Right at the 8-day started to coil down to now. We're kind of facing the 200 moving average right here. So see if that can follow through on that one. So good stuff. Nice ones tonight, Shirley. Bagesh, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing great. Akshay, what's happening? What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Tesla, your favorite. Let's take a look here. So Tesla, nasty day today. Nasty day. Bad news today, intraday. Forbes had a bad write-up on them, and back below the downward trend line today, but up about $4 after hours. So let's see how it's looking here after hours. So yeah, kind of drifting up after hours, as is classic to do. So now one of the interesting things is that we saw this reversal candle here at the end of the day, and it was right at a corresponding downward trend line and a that gap support. Right, so that was kind of the big deal right there. This is what we've been tracking here, this level right here. So here's kind of your breakdown levels right here. Essentially descending triangle. So it held that gap right now as support. So let's see if we can kind of drift up into tomorrow on that. So good, Matt. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Shop. Let's take a look. Yeah, so shop again, we just looked at here. So upper shadow from yesterday, and then that follow through today. Again, it's getting pretty close to the 200-day moving average to see if it might be able to hold that as a little bit of support. Square. A lot of rough moves today. So Square is, not out of the woods on that one, but we had a bunch of little support levels right here, lower shadow, lower shadow, lower shadow, and then when you gap below that, you kind of get that move, right? So you kind of look at the intraday time frames, chopped a little bit inside 15, then broke down below that 15 orb there, and then it got some follow through after that. So we'll see. We'll see if we get some downside. I might come back and just retest that downward trend line. TTD. Tricky one to trade, right? Crazy spreads on this one, but nice, kind of curling over type action right here. This is, very similar to the rest of the market, right? You get your wave 1 down, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and it's definitely pivoting right here, right? So possible wave 5, working its way down. So we'll see, but it's almost too obvious with the Elliott wave. So sometimes when it's obvious, maybe it's kind of done right here, and that was just it. But at this time, it's testing a pitchfork level, kind of a fib fan line right here. Good volume today, nasty candle. So again, just track it and see if it starts to trace itself below today's lows. Good stuff. Paul, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. ZEK, yeah. So CCL, another just rough day today. No mercy on these cruise liners, right? Look at that volume. The volume in this candle is like as much as months worth of volume on it. It's just like how much more. I think the bears really today, we kind of noticed the bears really stepping up today and really pressing shorts. So I think you're seeing a lot of aggressive short selling right now. So CCL just got hit today, right? So just with that volume, it's just like right here, big volume, right? You got this little that kind of horizontal right there with an upper shadows coming into it, and then boom, nice move right there, and then a little bit of move to retest that level, and then see ya, and then big volume at the end of the day is just kind of just hurled into the close. just really nasty. So we'll see if that gets any follow through tomorrow too. It's already getting, it's already $8 again, so it's pretty interesting stuff there. APT, brilliant, love this one. Great volume today, nice breakout candle. Wish I saw it at the end of the day today. I love that. So that, highly likely to get some follow through on this one, I would say, just based on that volume. Yeah, you're already seeing that follow through afterwards. So beautiful candle on APT today. AMRN. Yeah, I got a little relief bounce today. Huge volume on these ones too, right after that nasty gap down, right? So today was finally the play, right? So you had your 15 orb up today, right? So got a nice move on that, came back, retested it today, and then got a huge spike off of that today. Just that's just traders just having fun. So it's just great spike on that one today. Let's see if we get some more upside movement on that. Maybe it'll eventually try to work its way up. Good stuff. Thank you. Al, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so Boeing, another nasty candle here too. So it came back into the gap today. So it, broke down below that with some volume today. This was like one of the first ones to really kind of start today. It started really up here with this upper shadow today, and then it did its triangle breakdown today and got down to the 15 orb, and then, like we said, kind of got into this range here. So that's the hard part, right? Which shorting and even going long too. You got to catch the moves not before they happen, but as they're happening, right? That's one of the the big things with trading is because it's so easy to see like, oh, hey, this thing is going down, right? And as humans, like, we're just like, we recognize trends. We're like, okay, this is going down, so now I'm going to short. And by the time it gets there, right, especially with the volume coming in here, it's like, okay, this is going to keep going. But you got to pay attention to these lower shadows, right? So lower shadow, lower shadow, lower shadow. It kind of hung out here in this range for a while. It made it very, very frustrating unless you catch that move early, right? So that's the point of falling prices. Sometimes it's hard to chase things after you see it moving like that. So it's, but anyway, yeah. So that's kind of your move right there. Drifting up a little bit after hours into the close, but definitely a weak close today. Archibald, what's going on? Nvidia, yeah, nasty day on Nvidia, guys. Yesterday I had that red spinning top at the cloud, right? And today just was. This is one of the worst movers today. I mean, it's just nasty, right? So I mean, just big upper shadow at the 15 orb right here, breaks down here, got that sideways action, right? But then it finally broke down right below this triangle type pattern right here, right? And then got your confirmation, retested it, and then just flushed, right? So a little bit of a relief bounce here after hours, but again, it's all going to be about how it holds these levels, right? If it can hold 50% of the range tomorrow. If not, we may see just a little bit of a move up, kind of that relief bounce, right, where some shorts start to cover and then continues to work its way down. Just a nasty candle there on that one. So see how that holds. I mean, there are some prior support levels back here that it could be going into. Like that was a prior support level right there. So it's a little bit tricky here, but that is just a nasty kind of pivot turn today. So something to keep an eye on. Paul, yeah, and Docu, yeah. So Docu is just relative strength, right? It's kind of a Corona play with it's a cloud type stuff. If you can't get contracts signed in person, just email it out, right? Inside day today, decent move up from the lows. Really strong movement before the whole Corona situation started getting going, and it even was strong, through the beginnings of some of that news. Kind of worked its way up. Its move down was like you could see it moving down, but it had big lower shadows on the way down, meaning like they didn't want this thing to drop. And then once it got to that 2-day moving average with this strong candle right here, it really started to drift its way up pretty nicely. Now you got your inside day right here, so kind of see how that holds. But big volume yesterday too, with a big upper shadow too, so something to look at right there. But maybe working on that, trying to gear up for more inside day. See if it breaks out the upside on that one. So baggish, yeah. So Zoom getting zooming back down. It's been a great Corona play, right? We've seen a lot of big pushes to the upside, especially in the morning, right? Double inside day up, that was a great one too. It was one of our examples from from Monday, and so we saw that nice move to the upside right there. Then we got this doji sandwich down, right? And it's starting to get hit with some news, right? New York is investigating them for privacy rules, and then read some other articles that a member sent me too about. I mean, the privacy stuff is real, right? I mean, like sometimes when you use them, like certain things are compromised, like email addresses. They saw one article that if you use Zoom, like they can access your Windows passwords and all that stuff. So it's just like, wow, really? And so they're facing that type of stuff right now. So it's like, yeah, it's great, everybody's using it, but then it's like, maybe not so good, right? So Doji sandwich down today, curled, closed below the 8 EMA right here. So see if it gets any follow through here. We got some closing gaps below that it may want to test. CMG. Check out the burritos here. So we were hoping it would get above this fib fan line for some strength, but it just couldn't do it. So it's still kind of working on that reversal off of that fib fan line here. Spinning top down today, okay volume, right? So just kind of watch a couple of these levels here. This is going to be a big one right here, the 600 level. So see if it can continue to hold that. If not, that might be a key level, a key breakdown level for that one. And then CLX. Yep, good old Clorox. This has been getting, obviously disinfectants, very, very important here with the Corona and everything. So it's been given a lot of strong moves in the morning, right? So big strong move yesterday, big strong move today. Crazy price action. The option premiums on this one are a little bit rough, right? The at the money is a little bit rough, for a kind of like a consumer staple type stock, but It's just the volatility is really high right now. So a couple upper shadows up here. Just it's been more of like a some day trade potential if you can trade shares on it. So it's kind of one of those situations. It may come back and retest the 50-day moving average. So good stuff. Yeah, thanks for the great charts. Jorge, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're well too. Thank you for tuning in. Sumit, what's going on? Thanks for making it. OIH. Yeah. All right, so we got oil services here, so let's take a look. So we got this, right? Lots of stuff. Saudi Arabia, Russia, issues like that. Putin was talking about it today. Oil situation's rough, right? So this one's kind of curling its way back down here, staying below that downward trend line. So it's still bearish, still proven otherwise there. XOP. Again, very, very similar setups here too. So I thought we looked at this the other day. Anyway, trend line right here. Try to get out of it here. Couldn't confirm it. That's kind of your key confirmation level right there. So kind of going sideways right here. Very, very cheap right now. Amazing how it was just early this year it was $90. Now it's $30. Pretty incredible stuff. XLE. Similar, right? Very, very similar stuff here. Saw some weakness today in some of the utilities names too, like SO, stuff like that. But yeah, closed below the ADMA and still below the downward trend line too, so bearish still proven otherwise on that one. And some momentum building up, INO. Yeah, yeah. So we got real tight right here with this wedge pattern, this triangle pattern right here. We got a nice little breakout here, some follow through. It's coming back, right? We talked about those triangles right here. That middle of that triangle range could be some good support right there. So yeah, so could be working on that too. Guild. Tough one, guys. This one is a crazy megaphone, right? This is tough. This is hands off for me, guys. It's just too complex in here, right? But we are in a megaphone formation, right? So it's working its way down a little bit. Maybe it'll test the 50-day moving average and kind of see where it goes from there. GM stepping up to the plate and making some respirators. And market doesn't care, right? So it's that's not their job. Their job is to make cars, and their car sales are down, right? And ADMA curling down, nasty little kind of momentum shooting star after yesterday's candle, and kind of works its way down there. Not increasing volume, but still kind of a rough day today. So good stuff. Al, yeah, my pleasure. Samit, yeah. Also Amarin for some lotto fun. Yeah, I mean Amarin for sure. I mean, could have looked at it, yesterday, right? Eventually, you got to figure there's going to be some bottom feeders on this thing. So yesterday was 429. So let's just say yesterday, if you got the $6 calls on it, let's take a look. So Amarin, the April 3rds. Let's say you got the 550s. Yeah, I mean the 550s were a low of 5 cents today. Let's pull up the option chart here real quick. Hold on 1 second. So the $5.50 lottos from yesterday. If you just bought the dip yesterday, oh, you can't even see it. It's just today. So, but yeah, low of 5 cents today, and then all the way up to 31 cents on those. So pretty impressive stuff there. And then let's just look at the fives. $5 calls. Wow, $5 calls yesterday at the close were closed at 10 cents, and then all the way up to 50 cents today. So a nice 5x move on Amarin. So yeah, I mean you can happen. It can definitely happen, especially when you focus on these things and kind of can kind of see what's going, that it kind of reached a low right there. So it's pretty good stuff, right? Good. Yeah, definitely some fun on that one. Sherry, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. MDT. Yeah, Medtronic. This was trying to be strong up here, right? It was just, we had this little breakout level right here. We closed above it, but it was decreasing volume. Then we had an upper shadow off of it. Then we had another upper shadow off, and then we had a red upper shadow off of it with the increasing volume, and then we just got the gap down today with the rest of the market. So, tricky one right there. But was in play for for a couple days there after it got out of the macro trend line. Tesla, of course. Rough news today. It's drifting up after hours. A big move down here, but it's they're defending the gap still, right? This open gap right here. So they defended that today. It's drifting up after hours off of that level there. And then CODX. Co-Diagnostics. Yeah, kind of looks like it's actually working on a little bit of a falling wedge type thing right here, getting tight. Nice little mini hammer here off of the 50-day moving average. So see if we could break above this, right? You have a curling down ADMA, but if we could push and get above that, right? We got a little rising cloud right here. If we can get going before that, could be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Carl. What's going on? Yeah, Triple M. Is this thing moving at all yet? This is supposed to be the big Corona play, right? With the mask, they're like the main manufacturer of masks, and it just is doing nothing. I think they have a lot of other industry too because of that, but it's just struggling, right? So it's it's been just since it's on the radar and expected, right? It just hasn't been moving. A couple upper shadows right here. Just keep an eye on this macro trend line right here. See if we can get above it, close above it, and kind of work its way up there. It's just a little bit tricky. Nvidia, yep. So Nvidia, same thing right here. Weak candle today. Yesterday, big volume off this spinning top at the cloud. Got that follow through the downside today. Had a really nasty move down today. Right, drifting up a little bit after hours here, but that was that triangle breakdown here intraday was pretty incredible on it. And then at this point, just have to see if it drifts up, see if it holds 50% of today's range. If not, it might just be a little H cell setup and kind of work its way down on that. And then SNY. Yep. So Sanofi here. Let's take a look. So here's your low. Here's your level. Breakout candle. Tried to push upper shadow near the 200-day moving average. Worked its way down. Holding the ADMA right now. Kind of a tricky one right here, but it's kind of in no man's land. It's kind of in the Bermuda Triangle right here. So just kind of a little bit tricky on that one. URI. Yep. Key levels here. You had a nice close yesterday, right? Upper shadow. So it's just at this point here, it's just just see if that ADMA it'll just kind of like trace that one up here. Tough one on the United Rentals. It's like if industry is going down or a lot of contractor work is going down, then they're probably not going to be renting as much stuff too. You could do this with everything, but pins, little doji reversal here from yesterday, closed below the ADMA today, basically back within that channel range. So look if it wants to test some of those lower levels. And AVGO. Little Broadcom action here. Again, nice candle here that closed in the upper end of that upper shadow, right? Then an inside day and just kind of consolidated for a little bit. Then it tried to break out. Remember those horizontal breakouts? Tried to break out but couldn't confirm. In fact, left a big upper shadow on it and then boom, shift to the downside right there. So right below the ADMA2, starting to curl over on that one. So just kind of keep an eye on that one too. And Smeet, yeah, ABT in an uptrend. Yes, it was. And today's the first breakdown candle right here. So see if it can confirm below today's low or push below today's low to see if it can move down. So just be careful with that. Inside day down today. Just watch today's low, see if it wants any more follow through the downside. If not, it could hold that level as potential support. LH. That's our lab core. And, nice candle this day right here. Just couldn't get any follow through on it inside day and just kind of drifted down off of that too. Coming down below the ADMA as well. Here's that kind of mini trend line right here. So basically confirmed below that one today too. So amazing how a company that is dedicated to doing diagnostic tests and where there's more diagnostic tests going on than ever before, that it's kind of working its way down. But that's kind of the inverse logic of the market. DGX, another good testing stock here. We had a good swing on this one. Back yonder, I think we got a little swing along here when testing started going up, and then boom, just a flush to the downside, just the rest of the market for whatever reason. Even though these are the ones that are doing all the testing at airports, but since there's less flying going on, there's less testing going on. So I guess you can kind of see that inside day down with this as well. So, but it did hold some of these levels here with a lower shadow. So see if that can get constructive on that one. So good, cool one. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in, Heather. Good evening. Thanks for making it. Appreciate it. Tracy. Good evening. All right, let's see what we got. So Payc. Payc, look at this. All right, let's take a look here. I was wondering when Siri was going to listen to that one. Okay, Siri. So Paycom, yep, still downward trend line right here, right? So kind of a interesting, A, B, C. Right, wave 1, ABC, wave 2, maybe wave 3, trying to work our wave 4. It could be working its way down. See if it wants to come down and kind of test these levels here. Right, so nasty little downturn there. ADMA curling down. And UAL. Another one. Gosh, these airlines are just struggling right here. So it's basically come back today with some big volume to again retest the downward trend line as it's basically sliding down the trend line right now. So see if it gets any follow through the downside on that. Maybe it could crack back below it again. Eventually these things are going to squeeze once things get better, but right now it's just so rough. Cool one. So you have questions. Which one is better to buy for a long? IWM versus SPY? Please say something. So, I mean, when they set up, right, either one's fine, right? I mean, it's they just had a setup, right? I wouldn't say like, I wouldn't buy anything right now, for me. But I would at least wait till we get a confirmation above our trend lines right here. This is actually going to be a major level right here that we want to see it confirm above. And then once we can see that, we know things are kind of starting to look a little bit better, right? We may see a move on IWM, and of course it's cheaper than SPY, so you get a little bit more of a bargain on it, right? SPY, same thing, right? We got these levels here to deal with. We're back below the trend line, so we really need to confirm above those too, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at, just in terms of swinging for a long time buy. Sherry, yeah, Zoom, yep. Exactly, on Zoom. So zooming on the way down. Highly likely that at least comes and tests some of these gaps right there, and may even come back and test this trend line. Reason, it's privacy issues that they're having right now. So one of the things to look at too is we broke that double inside day up. We've just tested the double inside bottom. So this may be potential support right here. But if it does break down below there, we've got a closing gap right here. Got another closing gap, here. Almost an open gap right there, right? And then we get back down to the trend line, right? So there's a couple levels here that might want to get tested on it. So interesting to see a reversal on that too. So it's coming back and testing that the end of that breakdown level right there, and the double inside day. So good. Yeah, Tracy, Microsoft and Apple, absolutely. So Microsoft, this is our trade of the week idea from the newsletter, and it gave a nice move on Monday, and then Tuesday it already hit our target, right? We had an inside day that held the 200-day moving average, good volume. 2 days ago, right, and they got a nice, move up to the 50-day moving average, which is our target level there, and then it reversed sharply off of it, right? So, fast market these days, at this point, this is kind of your key level that we want to get above. So, and it's got a mess ahead of it as well. So, a little bit tricky right here. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came back and tested that congestion zone again before trying to make another move up. And then Apple's and bananas. Let's see. So, yeah, interesting move back down. It did hold a prior pitchfork level here. You can kind of see the pitchfork, those three blue lines right there. So it's kind of back at that level again. You can see we kind of held it here, came down below it again. So now we're back above the trend line here. Let's see if we can get above this level here for Apple to start working its way up. But eventually this thing's going to gear up for a move. So we might get a relief bounce off of this here a little bit. It's drifting up a little bit after hours. So see how that does again today. See if we can get back to the 50% level. Might even retest the 200-day moving average. So good. Bagesh, yeah, my pleasure. Oh, yeah, Regeneron. Regeneron had some relative strength today. Regeneron had some relative strength today. So, decent, a couple decent moves up. Nice candle today. Good volume yesterday. Closed above yesterday's high. So, up $8. So decent move right here. You're coming into a little resistance right here from this candle. But if we can get above that, we might retest those highs. So that could be pretty good. Sumit, thoughts on railways? It seems demand is high, but the transport sector seems bearish. Yeah, you look at like CSX, right? A little bit of a weak move right there. Oh, that's not the trend line. There we go. That's the trend line right there. I mean, so you have this level right here, which is going to be an important one to try to get above. Inside day down today. They tried to recover a little bit, but yeah, the transports are pretty rough. Right, here's your Dow Jones transport average. Right, week day today looks very, very similar to CSX. Right, it's just got to get above these levels right here. So, but as go the transports, so go the market. Right, Dow theory. Manu, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, doing well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing great. Yep, the Qs. Similar to everything else, right? Upper shadow yesterday got that follow through the downside. Today it's coming back to its trend line right here. So now yesterday's high is kind of the key level of this thing that really needs to work itself above. Apple, just took a glance at that here. Same type of stuff, right? We're seeing a lot of this kind of, we had a relief bounce, that last week, right? Now we're kind of, looks like we're kind of starting to see a pivot down. So we may see, a couple, tricky moves here. Futures are up, so we might see a gap up on these, and we just have to kind of keep an eye on it, see if they make sense for an intraday short tomorrow. Netflix. Yep, Netflix too, guys. This is a classic, right? You go to the weekly chart here. We're talking about these breakouts, right? Your weekly breakout level right here. These apply on all time frames. Your level right here is test down, test down, test down, right? See how important that is? Test. Needs to confirm, right? Couldn't confirm right there, and then work its way down, right there. So you go back to the daily chart, right? Similar stuff here. You kept on getting upper shadows, and then eventually, we just got that kind of push down today. It tried, a lot of things tried this morning, and then that reversal just came into the afternoon. Oh, sure, it's okay. Yeah, my pleasure. Oh, it's okay, Manu. Yeah, I don't mind, kind of going. Sometimes if we relook at a chart, we see something that we didn't see before, so all good. Well, good. Hey, guys, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Great chart requests as always. Good discussion this week so far on the breakouts. I hope you guys have found it helpful, and I hope some pieces out of there that can help your trading. And really appreciate everybody for tuning in and for your support. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. We always appreciate that. And whether you're new or not, definitely hit the like button. We always appreciate that too. And feel free to check out the links in the description. You've got our Twitter, on our website with some good information there as well. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thank you again, and I hope everybody stays healthy and have a good night rest. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it, everybody.